on, Mr. Maps?
Yebo, yes, hello, hi, konnichiwa, guten tag, namaste. What's good?
Easy, my general. What's the story?
Nah, man, I'm alive, can't complain. It's another week we get to do this fantastic podcast, and can't help but be excited, man.
Yeah. We give thanks. Shout out to everyone who listens to the ting, likes the ting, subscribes to the ting. We give thanks as always.
No, otherwise, if they don't do that, then what happens? We assume they're white.
We assume that they are a hater.
Yes, absolutely. When we post a link to the podcast, every Friday, if you're not retweeting, we hater. Let's actually, we should do this from now on. If you're not paying for the podcast, if you're not subscribing, it's your duty to retweet. That is what we'll consider to be your $5 entry ticket. I think that's a fair way for everybody at the end of the day. I think let's do it that way. But anyway, some of you might be wondering, like, oh my God, this is my first time listening to this shit, and these niggas are like, yo, I don't even know what this is.
No one knows what it means, but it's provocative.
No, it's not. It
gets the people going.
But it's 6 foot weights. It's your favorite hour with your maybe-ish kind of sort of cheese boys, and I'll go into that a little bit later. But my name is Tabo.
My name is Senna.
And we are here to do the damn thing for another week. Let's go straight into the housekeeping, Mr. Boy. I think there was that one week where we just went straight into things and, we didn't dilly-dally. And I was like, this is it. This is the...
It was a flow.
It was flowing. It was, hey, fam, shit was wet, bro. But anyway. In terms of housekeeping, just wanted to let the listeners know. Siazama is one of our favorite segments to do, but it kind of hit me that people don't really know when to send Siazama submissions. So, what I'll say is, essentially, we look to record every Tuesday, the podcast. That's when me and Senna will get together and try to, get this thing out there, or not, at least record. So each week before Tuesday or on Tuesday afternoon latest, like let's say by 5 o'clock Zimbabwean time, then that could be your deadline. 5 o'clock Zim time is the last, if you want UC Azama to come out that Friday, then 5 o'clock Zim time on a Tuesday, send that in via email, 6footweights@gmail.com or at 6footweights on Twitter. Either way, and then we'll be more than happy to delve into your Siazama. YouTube, subscribe to the YouTube page. Our producer Lindo, Young Senna, actually has something cooking up. All right, fine. Lil Senna in the building. But anyway,
is that her brand? Is that what she goes around calling herself?
No, she would never. I'm just teasing. I'm not. She would never go around calling herself Young Senna.
I'm sure she would.
No.
There's some pleasure in being my sibling.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, if that's what you claim, then I don't know. I think your siblings would beg to differ. But hey, we'll leave it. We'll leave that, because we gotta keep moving forward. But anyway, Lindo's cooking up something real nice with that Fast and Furious review. So even if you listened, via podcast or via whatever Spotify, when it's out, hopefully, and again, this is me putting pressure on her, but she'll persevere. Pressure makes diamonds. But we'll let you know when that's out. That bonus episode that we did. Shout out to the people that have already listened to that bonus episode. Add us, let us know what your lists are in terms of your top 5 Fast and Furious movies. And we'll be more than happy to repost you, man. Give you that shout out. And then lastly, we've had a few complaints from the listeners, episode is not showing up properly on Apple Music, and I actually don't know why. But what I would say is, if you're not seeing the episode, so obviously the episodes generally drop every Friday. If you have the link tree on Twitter, just check on Spotify, because Spotify and Google Podcasts religiously will have them out on time if you're subscribed to Spotify or Google Podcasts. But if you want to listen on Apple Music, normally, like for me, I've never had any issues. But if you're that individual that has had issues with the episode not coming out on time, when you go into the 6 Foot Weights, onto the 6 Foot Weights profile on Apple Podcasts, there's a top right, it'll say see all. So just scroll through that, because sometimes the episode might be hiding, or maybe your network is just slow, or I don't know what it is. But if you're that kind of like, no, I need to listen to it now, you always have Spotify, you always have Google Podcasts. There's a way to get the content. And I think, that's pretty much it in terms of housekeeping. Mr. Moyo, what you got on your side?
No, nothing. Special thanks to everyone who read the IP Thursday last week, read the ting, retweeted the ting, liked the ting. That was really cool. I'd missed doing that. At the same time, I enjoyed making like a little comeback. Last week was the South African flag story, Tabo, if you remember it.
Yeah.
That's the one that I spoke about on TV a couple of weeks back. So that was cool. I think I'm glad a lot of people found it informative. It's always encouraging. People say, oh, I didn't know that. And they read it and they're like, oh, I know something else today. So yay, keep reading, keep supporting. The more people read, the more encouraged I am to do it.
Fantastic. We love to hear it. And then I have a few points of order before we go even too far into this podcast. Firstly, I've been called in by management. I was called into the office, and they said, Uti, listen, that story that I told about being ghosted, there were some errors there. So management requested that I clarify some things. So apparently what I mentioned was she came back to me in 3 weeks. That's what I said. So the timeline was actually about 2 months, not 3 weeks. which to me, I said it makes me look better, because again, 2 months down the line and you still came. You know what I mean? Like 3 weeks is kind of
And then for 2 months she was thinking about it. She was like,
no. And it was just kind of like, no.
Text him back.
Yeah, no. Like it was one of those things where, like Thanos, I was inevitable. So, I was just told, no, go and clarify to the people. Otherwise, I'll clarify it myself on Twitter. Let me see. Yeah, that was it. So I was asked to just retract that bit of information, and so comrade, I recognize you. Oksalayo is, the war was won, and I was the victor on all accounts. So, anyway, the second thing that I want to also have a little bit of a point of order is I shared my trauma with you guys, last week. I was brave enough to talk about these things that happened to me as a youngin, and I was roasted, fam. I was roasted on Twitter. I was roasted on WhatsApp. It was people just had a party on my back, and y'all was just twerking all over the place, man. So you know what we need? We need that clip, that from the bottom of my heart. That's what I need.
Do you
right
blame
now.
them?
Yes, I do. And also, I want
Why?
to clarify one thing. Again, I'm not afraid of chickens in general. If I see a chicken, I'm not running away. If I see a chicken without a head spewing blood, yes, and flapping its wings, I will run away.
Well, my question is, why are you running away?
Because
what will it do?
Again, you can't be too sure, bro. This is the same level of curiosity that got niggas chained up. Like, oh, what are these white people gonna do? You know, they're carrying a Bible. Then what happens?
It's a chicken without a head.
I just don't trust things, guys. I want to buy a lawyer. You know, life is going well for me, guys. You know, life is good. You know, so like I'm not really trying to test life right now. I'm not trying to do a lot of that stuff. So anyway, it's an undead chicken that I'm afraid of. It's not just any chicken. But yeah, like we can chill with the jokes. Shout out to the people that did understand on my side and would guys, these chickens are actually a terror on the streets.
Your fellow cheese boys and cheese girls who could relate to that story, I don't understand. Guys, it's a chicken. First of all, whether it's live or it's dead, doesn't matter. What's it going to do to you?
No.
Worst case scenario.
Can't trust.
Someone
niggas,
also
man.
came in the DMs and like, guys, me also, I understand. I'm scared of chicken.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the worst thing that could happen if a chicken ran towards you?
What if it gets its claws out and then lepas you or whatever? I don't know, bro.
That's the worst case?
I don't know, Senna. I don't want to be a statistic. That's all that I'm saying. I'm not gonna stick around to find out.
So
I've
have you
seen
ever
way too
actually,
many
so
horror
what I
movies.
actually wanted to ask, have you ever actually like cleansed that one, like cut its head off? Like you yourself, not witness, but you yourself, take a knife, hold the head, and then...
No, I took over from Gutaring it. That's where
Hi,
I was.
tough.
Yeah. That's it.
So like
That's
at your cabins, I saw a tweet today that said, I'm not sure if I can actually say who said this, but this person was like, I knew I was dating a cheese boy, but now imagine when I take this cheese boy home and my parents are like, I think she was saying slaughter the chicken, and he doesn't want to. I'm sure you know who that person was, Tabo. I'm sure we all know who tweeted that.
Yeah.
What I want to say is, if that happened and you go to her home and they're like, Kwasha and Kumbro Kuti Uhlinzi Ilokuzenin ckuf yakhona, what are you going to do?
Wow, Senna, that's horrible. Well, one of my friends suggested, like, fam, you can get some KFC, Uber Eats some KFC to the joint. So that's one option. That's one option on the table.
You know how Shona families put a lot of expectation on Mkwash.
Yes.
It's obviously, I think Debele families also have expectations on Mkwenyana, but I think also because you have to come with an I'm proving myself thing.
Yes.
Debele families might just be like, Mkwenyana loko kayenzi bathule bakuyeke lunch. I tend to think that in Shona families it will be more like how, and then.
But here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. If I show up, right, and you know, it's like you said, it's a Shona family, and they go, right, Mkwasha, we need you to plow the fields or whatever, right? And in their immediate expectation, let's say their expectation was, I'm going to get Ikuba and go and right. So
Imagine
then
Thabo
what
in his
happens?
Honestly,
Bro, like honestly, Jordan Zimasimini, like Jordan himself would fly to Zim and be like, nah, dog, that's not it. But you know, what's the difference if yes, they expected me to go into the fields, right? But then I pulled up with 4 guys that I'm going to pay and be like, yo, guys, take care of the land, and do whatever, and then they'll be done in 2 hours. I pay the guys, and we're done.
It's the same as my mother rocking up to my father's home with a maid. You can't do that, and
Why?
she can afford it. A mom works head of whatever M7's in Wake, top management, big monies, whatever. But nice to see Makaya. she can't then rock up with the whole catering company to her.
Says who? Says who? Listen, your mother didn't sweat
because
through a degree and is out here head of a Fortune 500 company for someone to come and
all right, Tabo.
No.
Your mom sits at international conferences and meets with heads of states and leaders and whatever, right? On the continent.
Yes.
Nice to see Makai. Does she pull up there with the catering team?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
I had to get Mr. Maposa himself to come and tell us Wagwan. Because I can tell you now. The expectation from families Wuti as a gesture of some sort of gratitude, traditionally do it yourself.
All I'm saying is I'm signing up to marry someone. I'm not signing up to, for some modern day slavery or some shit. But hey, Oksala is no, guys. Me, I'm either or. At this point, I'll shout out Kuku. Kuku is the only person that has ever believed in my real nigga side. Right? This whole cheese boy thing is just for clout, guys. It's really just for clout. Let's not get carried away. Kuku knows the real me. She always says, nah, bruh, you left Zim a long time ago and I still can't tell. And I'm like, you see? Like, it's a real thing.
I can't tell. She doesn't say Guti Tabo's not. You're a cheese boy, bruh.
No, I'm not.
AF.
No, I'm not. I'm really not. You're more of a cheese boy than me, son.
Jack.
Because
I drink wine sometimes you cheese boy.
Yes.
I think we've had this conversation of who's the bigger cheese boy, and it was proven that you're the bigger cheese boy. I don't know why you're fighting it now.
No, I'm only all I'm saying is I'm rebranding. Clearly, I was having fun, but you guys are taking this shit too. So me, I'm rebranding. I'm changing up. I'm gonna be a real nigga from now on.
You're going to have to slaughter a chicken live.
I'll do it. And again, I was even thinking about it. Because my dad texted me, he was like, Chief, we need to slaughter a goat. I'm going to be there. I'm going to slaughter the goat myself. I'm going to have it on video.
Thank you.
It's going to be recorded for the masses.
We give thanks.
When I'm home.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is the point where we insert a disclaimer and say that if you're sensitive towards animal cruelty and all these things, please do not watch that video whenever he
If you're sensitive to that, then that's it. Also, okay, no. But on a genuine, we might skip that. We'll black out the thing.
We'll post it.
It'll be tasteful.
What do you mean?
It'll be tasteful. We'll do a tasteful slaughtering of the goat.
Yeah, you do a proper slaughtering, and then we'll just put a disclaimer on the vid, which is not for sensitive viewers, blah, blah, blah.
Actually, I might need to check YouTube, because, these guys are sensitive over... I said women are wicked on Instagram, but post bang culture, so, what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm sure on Twitter will be fine.
Okay. I guess we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens. Anyway, those are the two things that I just wanted to address real quick.
Was that housekeeping?
Get into the pod. That was points of order. That was just my points of order.
I actually forgot one housekeeping thing, but it's fine. We can mention it at the end.
Okay. All right. So the first topic is a very interesting topic. I was actually listening to some old school J. Cole tunes, and just a quick side note, I really appreciate J. Cole, man. Like,
really,
of all the rappers in America, he's the one that I related to the most. And the reason I say that is when it comes to what he was talking about, right? All these other rappers, we're rapping about Compton, Brooklyn, selling crack, selling dope, bricks, all this other stuff. It's like, okay, cool. I just like the fact that what you're saying is rhyming, right? Or whatever. Or you're a good storyteller. But with J. Cole, he had these songs where it was like, he's talking about being in college. He went to St. John's, if I'm not mistaken, St. John's University, which is where I almost went. And, just his college experiences, losing your virginity, dating girls, being with girls, all this other shit. Like, it's just relatable stuff. Girl troubles, like all this just in J, in terms of him kind of trying to be on the come up and all this, like where I was in my life. I just felt like, it's like listening to someone who's going through something else, but you're like, I completely, like, I understand 98% of everything, all these bars that you're putting down. I'm there with you. And no other rapper, maybe some early Kanye, but like no other rapper put me in that space where I was like, nah, fam, this guy sounds like he's for the people, So yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to quickly mention that. But basically, when the question that I wanted to ask was about relation, it was the J. Cole that triggered this question. That's why I mentioned all of that. I'm asking about relationship windows. So like, have you ever had a person where you guys, let's say even from high school or whatever point in your life, right? There's you, the guy and the girl, and you guys, have been flirting. You've always had this chemistry and, all this other stuff, right? But it's just there's never been a look, you're laughing too hard. There's never been an opportunity. There's never been an opportunity for you guys to date, right? And for whatever reason, right? It could be anything in the world, but it's just never been right. And then you guys end up, getting together after some time, maybe after some years or whatever the case is. Find that, when you went to go to school in America, you stayed in Zim, and then eventually someone came back to Zim, and then, right, I'm back, let's figure out something. But unfortunately, the relationship is a flop, or the sex is a flop, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just all of that you guys had envisioned in your minds. It just
doesn't
flopped,
live up to the
right?
expectations.
Exactly, it doesn't live up to the expectations. So then now my question to you becomes, do you think relationships have an expiry date, or at least getting into a relationship, rather? That's really what I'm talking about. That getting together part. Do you think that has an expiry date, or if you guys are meant to be, no matter when you guys link, it'll be fireworks? Sorry, be serious.
No, I laugh because it's fine. I think I feel like you chummed me with this one.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So for example, I'll make an example, not a personal one. Maybe it's a personal one. Okay. Who knows? It's you can, the Zimbabwean situation, right? What it's meant is a lot of people who maybe get along, or maybe have a spark, have chemistry, like each other, have in many instances ended up on different sides of the world, right? I cannot say whether or not that's happened to me. I would never confirm nor deny, but it happens where you maybe you live in the UK, and the person you want to be with is working in Joburg.
Yeah.
Or you end up in Australia for school, but the person that you hit it off with, you've been texting as chemistry, ended up in America. Other side of the world things. Now, what's important, I think, is approaching such a situation. Don't have fairies and rainbows in your head. Because ultimately, a relationship is not fairies and rainbows. It's a partnership. Two people like each other, the chemistry, you hit it off. There's always going to be difficulties, but you teach each other and you learn. But that underlying thing that brought you together, the spark, right? You have to maintain it. I like you for a particular reason. Let's keep that, and then let's learn to build on it. Because when you have the spark, and then on top of the spark, you're building dreams and fantasies of what it will be, what it could be. It doesn't matter how much time. It could be 5 years, it could be 10 years. If those expectations are not realistic, then it'll flop. Then, you'll find out with ish. I was waiting for someone who'll come and give me 5 rounds every week. Told ukuthi uThabo comes at, hey guys, emsebenzini lamhlanje kufika, I just want to sleep. So on top of the spark, it's important to build the requirements. It's important to build with, okay, Tabo and this person have a spark, right? So what we need to do is, on top of the spark, then we add the things that Tabo likes, the things that the other person likes, and then from there you have a proper relationship without that expectation. Because once you ngena with the spark and then you put weird expectations on the spark and then you come to the relationship itself, it can be a letdown very easy.
So you think it's all about the expectations set?
Yes, I think the expectations have to be managed.
But don't you think, there's also that let's say it's a high school crush, right? For example, that you guys never dated, you stayed talking and whatever. Yeah. And then now you guys, there's that thing, and you guys are, let's see if we can date.
Yeah.
But you've also changed though, right?
Definitely.
You've also grown as an individual. Isn't it more likely that you guys that the relationship is going to be a flop than a hit, just because of life?
No, but because I think because you have the spark, the relationship is more likely to be a success than it will be a flop. The problem is, and I'll make this analogy. What's the difference between that person you were talking to in high school and you were getting along with, you were flirting with, and the DMs is popping, the TL is popping, whatever it is, you're sending each other memes and pictures and all these things, than someone you just met yesterday on the bus? That other person you've been talking to has that nice foundation, which the person you met yesterday on the bus doesn't.
But the person you met on the bus gets who you are right now, and there's no need to, and you can present yourself a certain way to that person on the bus, to be like, okay, this is who Senna is right now, and this is what I want to show you.
Yeah, and you can do the same with the person who you've been talking to, because they have a head start, right? Then all you need to do is just to show them the other parts of it.
Okay.
I think what happens a lot, and I'll answer the second part of your question right now about whether or not there's a window. But I think what happens a lot is people build up sort of castles in the sky or whatever it is, whatever they call it. And then when it eventually happens, it's like, this is not what I expected. I expected this person to wear a G-string. So
what kind of example is that?
I don't know. But here's the thing. Maybe you've been talking to this person for 10 years. Out of high school. We finished high school 9 years ago, right? So 9 years ago, you've been talking to this girl. She went to varsity, wherever. Then she came back. Now you're both in Zim. And when in your head, you've been fantasizing, going, yeah, no, maybe she has a young lacy number or whatever it is when she comes to bed. Skip us empty seed. Also got Twangerai right in front of you. It's difficult.
Yeah. Sarah, what kind of experiences have you had?
I haven't. But so I haven't had those kind of experiences, right? But as someone who I think I've also had not like that, but a sort of a crush. I'm very mindful of setting weird, unrealistic expectations of what that would have been. I was mindful of that, right? I have a crush on this person, but when we eventually get together, I'm not setting expectations of seeing Victoria's Secret every night when I go to bed. Right? I'm not setting expectations of talking intellectual property law and dancehall and reggae every time, right? Because you have to leave room for what to that person might be something you don't expect, or to that person might be something that you hadn't envisaged, or you hadn't fantasized about, that you hadn't built them up to be in your head. Whether or not there's a window,
I hear that,
because I think you asked if maybe is there a window where these things expire. So if Tabo goes to the States and then he left someone in SA and then he comes back to SA, I don't think time matters, but obviously, practically speaking, the longer the period in time, the more likely the person is to move on. That's just the reality of life, because things happen. You'll be holding out for someone, Gandhi, other people are also saying, guys, mina ngihiye. I'm here now. You know?
Nah, I mean, you definitely bring up valid points. I mean, I just think, from at least from my point of view, I think there are windows. There's expiry dates because, again, life keeps moving. You know, you don't press pause.
True.
I think you know, like there could have been a time where when you and that person were feeling each other, if you were able to date, it would have been fireworks. But then this whole, let's do a young throwback relationship. I think, again, it could work. Guys, add us and let us know if you're with your high school sweetheart who you reconnected with and guatintin. But more of the experiences that I've been told and I've seen and I've experienced is more so that kind of like, yeah, maybe you guys hooked up, but really there was no traction. You know what I mean? Like it just didn't materialize. Like you said, that castle in the sky, it was a pipe dream, where you just realize nah, man, like it's a great trailer, but the movie really is kind of meh. You know what I mean? Like it's that type of feeling at the end of the day where you're just kind of like, I wish this didn't even happen, because now it's just kind of, not soured the whole thing, but it's just kind of like, the fantasy was so much nicer to live in, but now that I know what the reality is,
I wish I could go back to the fantasy where this person was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, literally.
Where this person didn't wear the MDC t-shirt to bed.
I know. Say that you need to come and unpack your trauma.
No. I don't even have
MTC t-shirt.
I don't have any trauma to unpack, but I know as someone who has had a crush, right? You always envisage, what could that be like? Like I remember, I told you with my ex, we only dated after I'd known her for a year and a half, and I probably had a crush on her for a year before I eventually asked her out. So there was, you're very mindful of, expectation.
See, ladies, this is why I say, men are not your friends. Senna was eyeing the item from day one.
Not from day one.
And she thought, this is the homie Kanti. You're just being lined up.
Not from day one.
Like a lamb to the slaughter, dog.
So I'll say this. So even after that relationship ended, I'm always very mindful of, if you have a crush on someone, don't build too many castles in the sky. Because ultimately, you just set yourself up for disappointment if that person is not what you fantasized about to the T.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I think we can leave it here. But guys, let us know, what is your opinion on this particular matter? What's your perspective? And again, if we've jump started some siazamas, come through to the DMs. Come and tell us.
Because I'm sure by Neng, the Zimbabwean situation.
Obvious. Come on now. Harare, according to His Excellency King Kandoro. Wow. Harare is also another mess that's there. But yeah, guys, let us know. But at this point, we're gonna jump into. Oh shit! I remembered. I wanted to take a look. I guess we'll do it next week, guys. We'll take a look at the 6 foot weights portfolio next week, because I actually need to go in there, see what it's looking like, before I come and announce the results to the good people. But in the meantime, Bibiri, we're going to go into the rundown. And the rundown is the part of the show where we're going to run through a couple of topics and give our 2 cents on them and have a little bit of fun with them. After this particular description of the rundown, I have to now start the opposite way that we agreed, Mr. Moy. The first topic here is a real cheese boy this time around. An authentic cheese boy. Not lokuguti, tabo, chickens, what. No. This is our leader, You know, I don't know. Would you say Duduzane is our leader or Vusi Tembegwa is our leader? Which of the two would you say is the captain of Cheese Boy, or is it Musi or Musi my man?
No,
like
no,
which
no.
one
I
is?
think
Who's our captain?
I think Duduzane is the captain. He fits the description.
He fits the description.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, Ish. So, Mr. Moy, just explain what happened.
All right. So, to cut a very long story short, last week we spoke about the whole Zuma thing, right? Situation in which Sholozi was handed down a judgment which said he had to be arrested by Sunday. So by Sunday he had to either hand himself over to the police,
5 days,
or the police had to come and fetch him, right? So what that opened up, right? Zuma didn't go to jail. He then launched another application to rescind the Constitutional Court's judgment. Long story, but we'll see how it's still ongoing. So we'll see how that'll go. But his supporters turned up at Nkandla, bruh, like to make sure he doesn't go. Like it was a rally, it was a protest.
crew.
Dog.
Yeah.
That man has supporters. Like I realized
Of
Zuma's a legend. But anyways, so addressing the crowd was one of Zuma's children, Duduzane, probably his most famous child. So Duduzane is there in front of the crowd, and he goes,
I was gonna say, hold on, we'll plug the actual clip.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I think we'll plug the actual clip. But
so what is it? So I guess I'll put in a short clip of what it's meant to sound like.
Yeah.
And then we'll follow it up with, Duduzane's rendition.
But
today we conquer. What is your profession? Away too. Welcome home to all the comrades here and the comrades at home. Siaba Sabana. Siaba Sabana.
okay, so at this point you've heard the clip, right? So
Yeah.
There's a certain way in which someone is meant to lead a revolution. Even me, I can't go. I know guys at Fits who would change their accents when they were talking to comrades. That was because they understood. But now when you're speaking in front of the masses, you can't be.
There's no comrade.
Yeah, there's no comrades.
That's not what we're doing.
Yeah, comrades,
Yeah.
how you doing? What's up? How's it going?
Yeah.
No,
What do you do?
you must go there and speak in a revolutionary way. Tau.
Yeah.
You can't just enter there with Sawubona in it. Like if Mtogo had to lead a revolution right now, he has to lose the accent because no one will
Yeah.
take him seriously.
Nah.
How's it going, guys? Oh, my name is Toko. No. Mandla.
You need to have a Julius Malema type of vibe about you.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you have to bring some authenticity to it. So, anyways, Duduzane then said his bit, and then Twitter had a party with it. The same way we had a party with Tabo's Chicken Story.
Oh, my God.
Twitter had a party with it, and they're like, guys, he could have just said a boom chicka boom. It would have just been same energy.
That ended me. I said a boom chicka raka chicka boom.
For those who've never
And people
heard,
in the comments with other cheers and shit like that.
For those who've never heard that war cry, that's the ultimate white people protest war cry. I never had white people cheering on. I said a boom chicka boom. Like how? But
Doesn't even make sense. But yeah. Honestly. And the thing is, again, this is a war crime. We're going to war. Comrades, we're going to war. We're here to protect Mshoros, you know? They came for us. And you're galvanizing the troops. Imagine, you know, we're 300 Spartans, and someone is out here on some Siaba Saba na, you know? Yes, Siaba Saba. We are afraid.
You're not inspiring confidence.
No, you're not. There's no, like, literally. And again, he started well, because he started with like Amanja, you know what I mean? He didn't fumble the Amanja. And I was like, okay. And then when he went to sit, and again, he also, you need to come into it, you know, properly.
There has
He
to
sounded
be a,
like he was unsure.
Yes.
He kind of fumbled. Siaba Sabana. You know what I mean? You can't do that.
Maybe he had stage fright.
Siaba Sabana. And then it's like, you know, maybe he did. Maybe he did have stage fright, because, nah, fam. If I'm Zuma, I'd have been, yo, get the mic away from this boy. Get the mic away from this. This is what happened when you're a comrade, and then now you've sent your kids to private school. Duduzane, half the time he's in Dubai. You know, we went to play what's this, putt golf some weeks ago with my friends, and the guy there was shooting. No, Duduzane was here with his crew yesterday. You know. So that's what your son is doing. And you want that same guy to lead the revolution.
Come up on stage and say, Amanda. Nah.
Yeah. It's not good. And remember when there's an episode, what did we call it? I think it's Trump versus Zuma or something like that. And we spoke about how, like, you know, there's a certain way that you need to sound. The same way that Trump got support was, you sound like a certain type of person. And you have to be relatable. And that's why if I went into politics, I can't, you know, come in speaking like this. I will have to change it up, code switch, because the support that, you know, especially in politics, people believe in you because they think Uguti, you're one of them, you know. And Zuma really did feel like he was one of the people at the end of the day. Like, literally, no matter what you might say about his policies, whatever, but that man had support. He genuinely had support, especially from the, you know, I'd say, you know, middle lower class Pansi. That was a huge base. And then maybe if you're talking about upper class, then those ones a little bit bougie, what. Because even when he got pushed out, it was really at the top.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the people were like, oh, go.
No. The people.
It was more.
Most of
it was within.
Yeah. It was like an internal thing.
Yeah, it was you know, it was one of those kind of behind closed doors. Then he's out. He's agreed to step down. And it's just like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, what time did this happen? In an undemocratic way, to be honest. And you know, you have that whole thing going on. But I guess we'll see as the story, you know, develops. We were right, because initially we said that it's very unlikely this guy is really going to see the inside of a jail cell. But I guess there's still more information to come out.
Yeah,
as the court case goes on.
They're trying to rescind the judgment, and we'll see how that goes. You know what killed me with that whole thing the whole weekend? So Duduzane he's there, right? And that's why South African journalism is in a bit of a crisis nowadays. So the journalist goes to Duduzane and says, "What are you doing here?" Dog. Bruh, like, out of all the questions you could ask him, he's like, "What do you mean? I live here. This is my home." Like, the question I should be asking you what you're doing. Yeah.
You know, Duduzane has that one clip, that famous clip where the journalist asked him, "What something has this ever come across you," or something like that, and he was like, "Actually, no, it's the first time I've ever thought about that. You know, it just came across me now. You know, did you see it?" And I was like, "Wow, this guy is actually quite rude." But we'll see how the saga develops, and obviously we'll touch on it if there's big developments there. In terms of the next topic, Ish, so we got someone who slid into the DMs. Shout out to Ropa. Kayani, she's on a resurrection trail these days. She was gone for a minute, but now she's back. And she sent an article. Did you see it?
No, I actually haven't opened the DMs today.
Okay. So essentially, she sent us an article and it was one which was filled with a lot of misinformation, firstly. And secondly, it was flat out embarrassing. But it was something that people have been saying for a while with, when it comes to, South African music and Nigerian music, right? And how there's this narrative that's building, Uguti Nigerians abafunu kukhutwa type of thing. And what that meaning, like, they have this, what someone called it main character syndrome. They must be in the center of yonkin, type of thing. So again, I'm guessing this is a UK based website or magazine or whatever. It's called guap.co.uk. Oh, at least that's the link. So we'll just go with guap.com.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the article was talking about how Amapiano, yes, started in South Africa, but now Nigeria and the whole Afrobeat Duduzane has incorporated Amapiano and essentially has made Amapiano blow up. They are the ones, It was, and this is how this whole article was bullshit, bro. So this is how it starts. Although birthed in South Africa, Amapiano is now being adapted into Afropiano, most notably in Nigeria. First question. What is Afropiano?
Like, what is it?
Like,
Yin.
come on, guys. Anyway, that's question number one. Article goes on to say, with the world's year-long captivation with Master KG and Nomcebo Zikode's Jerusalema, is definitely not. It is definitely not a revolution. It's definitely not revolutionary to say that Amapiano is a brand of house music springing from South Africa's townships. So essentially, this person is talking about Amapiano and then they're referencing Jerusalem. Like, that's where I'm like, yo, but I'm now confused. Mm-hmm. Like, what does Jerusalem have?
Because it's not an Amapiano song.
No, it's not. It's not. There's a huge difference between Amapiano and any other music. But anyway, the article goes on and on and on about different West African artists, or Nigerian artists to be specific, who have incorporated Amapiano in certain songs. And then there was something else that this Duduzane said. Oh yes, it listed. So have you heard the song by Olamide called "Loading"?
No.
You've heard it, no?
I probably know what it sounds like, but I don't know that it's him.
But it's loading. He's literally just says loading. Nope. Wow, Senna. Oh God. Anyway, so now this is not going to be really relevant to you, but to talk on Duduzane, the guy who made that song Olamide Wakoda, the loading, mm-hmm. They mentioned that as Amapiano song, and I'm like, yo, do you really know what Amapiano is?
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna, like, it's so loading is your stereotypical, think of an Afrobeat. Yep. Just think of any Afrobeat in your mind. They're saying that that's Amapiano item. And then sebehlanganisa konke labo busiswa show machozi, and I'm just like, guys, like, it's
they do
really
come across as if they have a thing. Main character syndrome, CBD, a very serious one.
But I think, okay, also, I don't blame them that much, because the other thing is, Africa, because Nigeria exports quite a lot of media, people, culture, a lot, like the same way America does. The rest of the world is sort of lumping us in that. Afrobeat is African music, and it's all of us.
It's all from Africa.
Yeah. Like, it's just, so it's one of those things where, yes, the whole world is making it a whole, Nigeria culture is Africa culture, point blank. And then also Nigerians are taking it in and being like, yeah, we're the guys.
Yeah.
We're holding down Africa.
which is silly if you think about it. You're like, because within South Africa, right? And there's a bigger debate about Amapiano to be had within the country. What is it closer to? Is it closer to house music? Is it closer to kwaito? where do you put it? Is it all under one? Because SA music in the late 90s, it used to just be called kwaito, or you did hip hop, or you did R&B, or you did whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or Afro pop, that Mafigizolo Malaika vibe. And then when house became a thing, when DJs started releasing like their instrumentals as it just became house. But there was still the kwaito thing. The Big Nas came back and they brought it back. So when the Yanos came, it's like Yanos basically sound like kwaito music, to be honest, in terms of the instrumentals and some of the lyrics. When you listen to Daliwonga, you're like, oh, it seems like a kwaito artist.
I mean,
but it's not.
It's not 100%,
because you can't put a line in the sand, right? So even in SA,
really
there's still that discussion happening. So then to take it to a next level and then say, actually, that's where I think whatever article this was totally poorly researched, first of all. Yeah.
Because, I mean, even I'd say, again, historically, house had always been in South Africa, even through apartheid times. But through apartheid times, they called it international music. It hadn't really, because obviously, black people didn't have that level of access to be like, right, I'm going to start creating music, right? Obviously, as you know, South Africa came out of apartheid, black people got more access to say, okay, let me show off my creative side. And then, you know, there's more and more influence instead of just that international black coffee vibe, you know, then, you know, incorporate that kwaito kind of like attitude and be like, okay, how do I combine this international music with kwaito, right? And then that sort of kind of like how it then births what we know to be South African house music at this point, right? Where now there was a more of a deviation of, okay, this is what kwaito does. Kwaito is closer to hip hop, you know what I mean? You could call it South African hip hop in a way. It was its own unique thing, but like you couldn't really, and then house also became its own unique thing in terms of these are the beats, you know what I mean? Like you can't compare SA house and kwaito. It now became
its own
two
thing
of its own.
Even
genres,
though you could be like, actually, some of it, because some of the songs you're like, maybe it falls within. It's difficult to box.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah, it's very, very. I mean, kwaito is unique. I think that's probably the most unique thing to come out of SA music-wise ever. Right? It's like nobody else has anything that compares to kwaito music, at least in my opinion. But then obviously with house, you're borrowing a lot from what the international standard is, and then now you're like, right, I have the blueprint internationally. Now I'm going to implement my culture, my influence, what I want it to sound like, right? And there you go. Now you've got house music, and it's gone through. It's been like your normal. I'd say what I characterize as normal house is kind of in terms of that evolution. Would be our DJ Cleo, Prince KB, Heavy K, those type of guys have done, you know, DJ Clock, like that's been what I know to be South African house. And then, but also what has also like kind of been born was when you had the Big Nas, our El Volva and whatever, those guys more so fostered, they were, I think, came closer from the branch of kwaito music, right? And then that's what also spurned on what Gqom became, right? And then you had, because Gqom was very much like, I think more so a Durban thing. And then eventually it blew up and then it died. And then now you have, you know, Amapiano, which is the next thing, which I categorize that under South African house. It's like, it's under that umbrella at the end of the day.
Do you know that?
I think so. I put it under
always put it under kwaito music.
Really?
The Yanos.
Man, I don't know, but kwaito didn't really, for me, kwaito was more so about, there was a message in kwaito music, you know? And that's why for me, kwaito was more so in the hip-hoppy direction.
Really?
In the sense that there was always a message for me when I listen to kwaito music. The artist is saying something. Wow. Yes, there's the silly ones and whatever, but generally speaking, there was an art and there was a point to it. Whereas Ipiano, it really most of the time you will.
But I think
you know it's.
But if you think about kwaito,
I don't know.
Right? Think of the most famous kwaito song and tell me what it's about. Mandoza Nkalagata. What's he saying about there?
Are you sure it's not Mapaputs?
Aye, Tabo, we've spoken about this. The two biggest Kwaito songs to come out of SA are Mandoza Nkalagata and Zola Umdrembe.
Do you categorize TKZ
As Kwaito? Yes.
as Kwaito? Then I'd say that it's the TK. What's the name of the song? Is it 1880?
Oh, thing. Shibobo.
There's only one. Come on, yeah, Shibobo. There we go. Come on. If I say TKZ, we're all talking about
Yeah,
one track.
Shibobo.
Guys. Let's be honest. Yeah. So no, it's Shibobo. It's Mandela. That's Mandela. It's Nkalagata.
I think Nkalagata.
Those are the two.
Mdrembe.
Those are the two most
No,
popular.
Mdrembe's right
I
up
don't
there,
think
bro.
Mdrembe is number
Nah,
three, bro.
check.
Like popularity.
Dog. They featured that
Sena.
on Tsotsi, bro.
Sena.
The biggest movie to come out of the country.
Sena. Okay, but Oksalayo is, if we hit a poll, we can literally make this poll on Saturday. We're gonna make this poll and say most popular lokuze 3 songs in essay,
Between Shibobo.
and you'll see by percentages: Shipopo, Nkalagata,
Mdrembe.
and Mdrembe.
Dog.
I guarantee you, Mdrembe will have the least amount of votes.
Can't buy it. Can't
Guarantee.
buy it. I think
I'm telling you, if we're talking popularity, not quality, but popularity, 100%. Zola comes.
Mdrembe on in this country, dog. Like it was an anthem.
Nah, I think you're leaning more towards Zola's popularity. If we're talking artists, there's no Zola and Mandoza. There we go. End of story. But if we're talking the songs, nah, bro, Shipopo's in there. And even in the poll, ngapali Shipopo, Bala TKZ in the area.
Ingoma, so try it's most popular, but we don't know the title name. But I understand. It was a big song, Ishibo, and it was linked to the World Cup fever more than anything. The 98 World Cup fever. And the fact that Benny made an appearance on it and he had a verse.
Yes. Which was trash.
It was a
but
trash verse.
1 4
But if you look at the most influential songs coming out of the last 25 years in South Africa, Nkalagata is the biggest. I think there I have to say. It's not the best song. I think it's not a song that I'll listen to and play and say, I feel like listening to Nkalagata
But
today.
do you quick question, do you think Nkalagata embodies the Kwaito spirit?
In a way, yes. But it's the way, and I hate that I have to, that's the reason why, but the way white people loved it. Unfortunately, that's what made it as big as it is.
Because like I don't know, like I listened to that song, I love it.
No, they were better
But it
Kwaito
just-
songs. They were way better
doesn't-
Kwaito songs than Nkalagata.
It doesn't embody what even just we're looking at Mandela's and
Mandoza.
oh my god, Mandoza's catalog. If we're just looking at that,
Yeah.
you know,
It wasn't.
I'd pick at least 3 tracks before I pick
50-50, Respect Life,
Nkalagata.
Tornado. There were,
Yeah.
I think, I always say, I'll never sit down and say I want to listen to Nkalagata today. But the way the whole country, including other races, embraced it, you have to say it was the biggest song. Probably even bigger than Vulindlela, to be honest. It was mad. It was a mad take. But I always say with Mdrembe, that's the one day Zola released it, he became a star. And then when Tsotsi happened and it became the title song, it just became one of the biggest songs to ever come out of the country. But anyway, it's a good debate to have. We can talk till the cows come home about this one.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think off air we need to chat about this whole. You think Amapiano is linked to Kwaito
more than house,
being the umbrella of house? Nah, bro. That bass line and there's when did you ever see Kwaito music making people put bottles on top of their heads and all this other shit? Bro.
Dog.
Like that's
Arthur was making us do amakopetsa and all these things. Oh, people were losing their minds even back in the day. The reason I say this is just because I listen to especially the vocalists on Amapiano songs. Dog, they have a Kwaito feel to it. The one that you think, Lebo Matosa, if she was alive, should have killed that kind of a thing. But yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. Fair enough. I think that is a very, very valid point about the vocalist. I didn't. Yeah, when I think about it, about Amos, Setro, even about Reese, Majlisa, I think I'd picture them more in a. Yeah.
So I think for me, this is probably
enough,
the middle ground, because I think I didn't like Gom. Like Gom.
Gom was heavy. Gom was there.
Gom was tough, when Gom plays at 3 a.m. you're in Long Street, you're semi-lit, and then a Gom song plays, you just feel tired. As a good tea, let me just get out of here. Like, it's just so loud. I'm like, get me out. But I know a lot of people loved it. But I Gom, guys, I failed. I struggled. Hey, Destruction Boys.
Okay, all right. Hey, an era. I love that era personally. My first December back in Zim in SA in like 8 years. Fam. Hey, had a party when I did. Hey, shout out to Gom. But anyway, next topic. You had a conversation with your neighbor. Care to shed a bit more light on that?
So my neighbor, his name is Greg. Actually, he lives downstairs from me. There's a funny story of how we actually got to become, I quote, friends. Well, not really friends, but we talk. My sister likes to say,
keep in mind we are behind.
So my sister likes to say he's my friend. So anyways, Greg has been living with this woman that I thought was his wife, right? Because they're both elderly. He's 67. So they live together, and like you see two people, they're like, husband and wife, sharp. The other day, I'm downstairs, and then he's like, I'm sorry, my wife was shouting at me, blah, blah, blah. I hope you didn't hear that. I apologize for the noise. I'm like, no, I didn't hear anything. Don't worry about it. Then I just out of curiosity, I'm like, so how many years have you guys been married? And he's like, married? That's not my wife. Like, he was defiant in saying that she is not his wife. Mind you, this man is 67 years old. Like, he's like a senior citizen. He's white, and you know how white people age as well. So he's traveled the years. So he insists, not my wife. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So you've been together? Like, yeah, no, we've been together 10 years, almost 10 years. And I don't know, man, I just don't see the need to get married. I'm old. Like, we're just seeing how it goes. I'm like, guys, people will take you for a ride. At an old age, Umuntu is still saying, we're seeing how it goes.
So they're life partners?
I think they're life partners, because they live together. But basically the crux of...
So been together
almost
10 years?
Yeah, so probably since he was like 57, 58.
That's not too bad. I mean, you can never rush these things, Senna. Like, you have to take your
time. I know
time.
I'm king of saying take your time, but I was like, but chief. So anyways, they live together. They're not married. They're partners. And it got me thinking, do you think, Uti, there's a time limit if you're maybe a widower or a divorcee, where you reach a certain age where remarrying is just out of the picture? Like, you don't think about getting married again?
I would say yes. I think there is a certain point where I think personally I'd just be like, bro, why am I trying to get married at this point? Because I think I would have grown. There's a lot of societal constructs that we as a society, as a species, we've decided, this is important. We've just decided, no, this is what we're going to prioritize in life. And I think, once you get to a certain age, once you're past, 50, 60 there, a lot of these things, you adopt I've been there, done that, or like I've grown, I've matured past that. And it's more so what it really is meant to be, which is friendship, partnership. You know what I mean? Like someone to be there. And it's not going to, you signing a piece of paper and wearing a suit and her wearing a white Duduzane dress doesn't matter. You know what I mean? At that point, it's like, come on, dog. You know what I mean? Like it's
or just going to court and saying
the everyday stuff.
Let's just sign. Don't have to have a ceremony.
Yeah, but it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, it's, again, why are we signing papers? You know, why must it be on record that we're married? You know what I mean? Like that, and that's why I do like the concept of it. Was first it sounded ridiculous, but I've met quite a few people in life, about 3 or 4 people, who have said, no, I have a life partner. I'm not married actually, you know, and it makes sense to me. It makes sense because it really is, by definition, if we analyzed it, it is a marriage.
Yeah,
right. It's a marriage because yes, it's your life, but everything, like bar for bar, word for word, it's what you are doing if you are married with your person, Senna. But the only difference is y'all didn't sign a contract, right? So when if you guys rather break up, she ain't obligated to have your shit. That's the only difference, you know? And I think, yeah, I really think sometimes you really can't be too old for marriage, but it doesn't mean too old for marriage does not mean too old for partnership. That's two different things.
Okay. Sure, Mandela married. How old was Mandela when he married Graça Machel? He was about 80 years old when he decided to get married to her.
Bro, why?
What do you mean, why?
Nah, me, if I'm 80, I'd never be caught dead trying to get married. Like, what? Nah, fam. Like, I definitely, I think as human beings, we are social beings. We need company, you know? We are built to, you know, walk this earth with somebody else.
Yes, I believe that too.
But it's not about signing contracts. I'll never live my life waiting for me to sign a piece of paper so that I can love someone unconditionally. Nah, fam. That's not me. Like, if you're gonna get this love, you get in this love. There's no paper in the world that could turn on, you know, my feelings with you know? Nah. Like, if I'm going to be that guy, I'll be that guy. If I don't want to, then I don't want to. It's pretty straightforward, you know?
Shemita. Anyways, Greg is living in a fat and set situation at 67 years old.
Hey man, you can never be too sure.
Yeah.
Greg mine, land and all these other assets, you know, he's got a good portfolio on him, and then next thing,
he's got you know, he always tells me, I have got like a lot of properties, so if you need like advice on these things, like just talk to me. I'm like, yeah, no, sure, Greg. And we talk, and he like got businesses, he drives a Merc. He's like an old rich white guy who just happens to have a fat and set situation.
No, we should hashtag grand zaddies with Mercs. Let's go.
Yeah.
Okay, and then finally, if you're still around listening to the podcast on your first go, this is the part of the podcast where, if you are of Ndebele heritage, Sena does not rate your cooking at all, and he's going to explain why.
I think Ndebele women caught a massive L on the TL this past week. I think there has to be a commission of into these things. I won't vesa all of them. I'll vesa one, because this one took me by surprise and shock. We all know Honorable Pongs. They're on Twitter. Pong Pong. Ncube. So she was trying to cook oxtail, I think. But what came afterwards, it did not look like oxtail.
It wasn't it?
It looked like charcoal, bruh. You know, charcoal that we take before we braai? That's what it looked like. Like, you know, when something is burnt beyond recognition, to an extent where you ask yourself, how? Like, even if I was trying to burn something intentionally, there's no way I would have.
It looks like she forgot.
It looks like she legit.
She has to have forgotten. Fell asleep on the couch. Gotta be something. Like, there's no way you were standing by the stove. You're looking at it. Because again, at this point, the kitchen's on fire.
Right?
Bizelana, I'm pretty sure she had to throw it away. Even if it's a non-stick.
That one's gotta go. Now I'm sure that pot is finished. Because at some point, you start to, like when you're cooking, you smell when something is burning, right? You can smell this chebole. Then you make moves, or whatever it is, whatever you do, you go do it. But to that extent, it means Uguti. I don't even think she was in the house, because if the way it was burnt, I swear, I think she left the cabins.
Yeah.
I'm sure someone said to her, no, Octel, maybe speak is cut a seat. She's like, okay, sharp, let me go to groove. Yeah, where's this phone?
Yeah.
Because even if you're in the same house,
later.
I'm sure Gulen to that starts to come up. Like there were so many.
I'm pretty sure if we looked up, I mean, again, we don't know where she lives, but if we just searched UK houses on fire, you know, maybe that will put us
I'm
on
sure
the
the
right
fire
track,
people must have
because
showed up to be like, guys, sorry, we hear there's a situation here.
there's no way, dog. There's no way. Deep down in my heart, I just hope that was a clout thing. I really hope that was just for clout, or that was a fake picture. She's just messing around and everybody had a good laugh. That's what I hope. Because if that's legit, you know what? Just
I think it's legit. I think it's
just
legit.
chat.
Because Uncle Sure. We're still debating Mangube's burnt offerings. Yeah, we are munyuti, guys. I boil liver. I'm Flolaga James.
Yeah.
There's certain things as Zimbabwe, and I remember this chat we had last year, what I said, Zimbabwean food is bland. And I think I know why it's bland. Because people boil everything. There's no need to boil liver. You fry that thing. And the reason for frying, people don't know, you fry something in cooking oil so that it maintains the actual taste. Because boiling things literally just kippers everything into the water.
Yes, man. Stele chef boy. I mean, I will say, like, for example, when you make chicken, isn't you boil it, or you could choose to boil it. If you choose to boil the chicken, when you primarily use what? The broth,
because it's taken all the flavor out of the meat. Well, not all of it, but some of it.
Exactly.
That's why
a
dried
good
meat
amount
tastes so good, because all that taste is still there. Smoke, kuba mnandi, yabo. That's why grilled meat also tastes nice, because it's there. The taste is maintained. When you're boiling things, you're literally removing the taste, unless you then add like soup to the water and then you make it like a stew thing. But even then,
even with veg, that's why they say you should drink the water. If you're boiling veg, drink that water, because half the nutrients
there. But
are
even
in
with
that
veg,
water.
they say don't boil
it.
the veggies for long, right? You boil them for like 5 minutes and split.
Yeah. That's why it's better to steam them, Bazala.
Excuse me. I see them on Twitter. They're talking about this boiled liver situation. Kono munyuti, no, I boil mince, I boil vorse. Hi guys, not everything is meant to be boiled.
Actually, I remember an aunt who once boiled boerewors, bro. We all looked at her like, you know, and it was tough, because, like, you know, it's the malume's wife. So, like, bro, like, at that point it's just, yo, man, like, hey, you know, if I was feeling like that, then your mother-in-laws and the cocos, they were all shook. She fully boiled the item, then fried it.
Boiled, then fried.
People, I mean, I will say, in her presence, nobody talks shit. But once they left,
you know how it is.
Once they left, they let them jokes fly, bro. They let the jokes fly, bro. It was tough. It was tough.
Yeah. But anyways, guys, must fix this.
Yeah, no, please.
Fix
up. Not everything needs to be boiled. There was also a Lokuzin, quick one. I don't know what it was. I guess this was about Zimbabweans in general, and just wanting soup on everything. I will say, I used to be, held down by the shackles of needing soup.
What was
on
that all about?
Every meal, way back. I don't know, because like a lot of it was in Shona, so I couldn't read. But I was just I saw people clowning people who love soup too much. But essentially, it just took me back to when you know, I had, what was it? I think I'd ordered Chinese sometime when I was in the States, and you know, my first few weeks there, and they gave me, you know, sweet and sour chicken, which was delicious, and then they gave me white rice. So they asked, "Oh, what side do you want?" I'm like, "Oh no, white rice is great," you know, because I'm thinking rice is a soup. These niggas Joe the chicken is beautiful, succulent, delicious, and they brought white rice, and I'm like, my brother, where's the soup? So you expect me to just chow rice? Just nyoro.
Because soup is not necessary for everything. You don't need it on everything.
Apparently not. So that's why I learned, you know, soup is not for everything.
But Tina, I already know. You have a braai, and then you'll do that tomato and onion thing. That tomato and onion salad, I don't know what you call it. There's a name for it, I just forget. You do that thing, then you just faga lokui papanyana lapa with the meat, you think you're done. There'll be a Zimbabwe no say, I can manja gula soup. But who had time? Umuntu wami bamngani wakhe ebamngani wakhe manje umelele niwayo ngadli hayi ngimelele isoup chief sise redwood akula soup ebuyayo. There's no soup coming.
Nah bro, niggas can't deal with relish, nothing. Like it's just nah.
We need to emancipate our people.
Anyway, yeah, no, we do. But at this point, we can go into the final thing, which is just a shout out. I told you guys about a segment that's gonna keep coming, and I was not wrong. I mean, a bit delayed. I expected someone to do something, but unfortunately, you know, they didn't do the thing. But yeah, shout out to the boy, Nduna, aka Mr. American Accent himself. Got down on one knee today, just a few hours ago, and popped the question to his lovely fiance, and shockingly, she said yes. So congratulations to both of them, and yeah, niggas getting married. They're out here. Amandebele aya chada. We need to stomp that narrative out. We just out here impregnating women. No, we do it the right way. We invest in our women.
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to the boy. He's coming a long way.
Guys. But anyways, we big ups.
So you're oddly quiet. You're very unenthusiastic, Mr. Moy, and this has been something that has been, you know, identified for some time.
Unenthusiastic about what?
You're not as hyped as me. Why aren't you as hyped as me?
Big ups to the boy. Siyambongela Shem. He's doing the things.
It kind of just feels like he qalel at you. It's like as if you wanted to be the first Moyo to get married. No, you're not
guys, let me tell you now.
I mean, we know you and Craig are your reason. So
I was inspired when I met
life
Craig and he told me I'm 67. We've been dating for 10 years. I was like, my G. I'm playing, guys. That's not me.
67 years and you're still in the talking
So here's
stage.
the thing. I will get married eventually. But like I said, Tabo, like I always say, right person, right time.
I know. It's okay. But anyway, guys, I think we can bring this particular episode of the podcast to a stop.
Yeah.
And did you have a quick thing that you wanted to say?
Yeah. It is a Smolangana admin. Good people, a very good friend of mine, Bubelo Mlilo, aka Bubbles, aka Mabi. Some of you might know her Zimbabwe on Instagram. Long story short, she is or has started a GoFundMe. So she got a place to do a master's in a management program in Spain. So I think it's the University of Navarra, if I'm not mistaken. She got a scholarship of 30,000 euros for a program which cost 38,900 euros. So it's about 80% if my maths is correct. So you got an 80% scholarship. Big ups to her. It's a long way. She's incredibly smart. She even wrote one of the IP Thursdays, or two of them actually. The one that became very big, the Lion King one, and another one, I've forgotten which one. But yeah. So Mabi, as I like to call her, has started a GoFundMe. So it's just for tuition, just to make up the remaining balance. I'm going to share the link on the socials. I already shared it on my Instagram. But yeah, look guys, any donation, you know how it is. 6 Foot Weight community, a girl from Bulawayo, trying to make it big in the world. So I'll share the link, and any donation you guys feel, whatever, do the right things. Mr. Maps, that is all from me.
Yeah, as Mr. Moyo said, if you are so moved by the Spirit, if you're not moved by the Spirit, but for those who are moved by the Spirit, click on the link, donate. It's definitely a worthy cause, and I mean, come on, 30 out of 38,000,
almost there. And I think we're already at what?
We can get her home.
Over 2K. This is on Tuesday, so I mean, by next week, I think probably by the end of next week, I think that's when it's needed. So probably by then, I have no doubt that the other outstanding 6 or 5, whatever it is, would be there. Just one last big push. If you have anything, in your pockets, in your heart, share, tell a friend, ask a friend, share the link. If you don't, we're going to assume that you're a hater.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of our own people. Let's get her done. And yeah, with that, obviously, guys, this is the end of the podcast, and that's it from me and Mr. Moyo. So, as we said in the beginning, like the ting, retweet the ting, subscribe to the ting, and if you don't, we're inclined to believe you're a hater. Mr. Moyo.
Haters.
Later.